grow up. But apply every lesson learned. So the family to reap all the benefits that I've earned. Thank you, mama. Thank you, mama. Thank you, mama. It's 9:45.
It's about that time. Y'all ready?
Come into the room, come into the room. Come into the room, come into the room. Hey. Sup, fams? We're just setting up. I hope you're ready. It's another episode of TTalks. Ready?
Let's go.
What's up, fams? What is it, y'all?
Shout out to everybody in the building.
Yes, it's another episode of TTalks.
All the koi sauce. Shout out to Toph. Shout out to Toph. It's actually his prize. He won it on the show.
Yes, and shout out to Kelandi. You're rocking that Party on the Weekend tee. Make sure you check out his music.
And the 680 movement chain.
Yeah. What's up, fams? We got a special guest today. I'm so excited. We're going to start a little bit early. Typically, we'll come into the green room at 9:50 and start at 10. But we're just super thankful that our special guest was able to make time in between his busy schedule, right? So he got places he needs to be. All right. Yeah. So without further ado, we'd like to open up the show. And it's another episode of TTalks with your girl, Keeks.
And B4.
Yes, and our special guest joining us tonight, my one and only homie ever since youth, DJ Rondizzle.
What's up, everybody?
Yay!
They're doing work here, by the way, so I'm gonna let them do work in the studio. It's very normal because we have we're improving the studio, and that's Sheldon, by the way. Did you see who that was? That's Sheldon in the background. Sheldon, din do hi, din po natin wave. Giruma. Yeah. Is that a big surprise? That's our chief. Yeah, that's our chief of the Division of Media here at the Ministry of State.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Lorraine, France. Yeah, so they're letting us actually use the studio, but we're also doing some work.
Nice.
So yeah, we're trying to put together some stuff, and
yeah,
we're getting ready for we're getting ready for 3:00, which is with the vice president. So we do this show called TGIF, which is Thank God It's Friday, and so we're trying to upgrade the studio and make it more easy on the eyes. Yeah.
Okay.
That's how we do it. You know how it works.
Right? You gotta make it comfortable and feel like
exactly. Yeah.
I love that the potted plant you have in the background.
Those are all Lorraine's plants, actually. Those are Lorraine's plants. Thank you, Lorraine, for putting those plants in. So the studio looks beautiful with the flags in the background. So this is the actual studio that you're looking at that we use for Eco Paradise FM. So on Facebook, on Eco Paradise FM, that's where we put up all our shows on Eco Paradise. So whenever we have, because we have different shows where we interview people and we do some really more in-depth interviews. It's not, like when the news does it, they kind of try to find holes and try to make it more,
something out of them.
Yeah, try to get something out of it. But ours is more on the informative side. So we're really trying to get the information out when we do our shows. Yeah, so that's more of our focus
here at
EPFM.
Can actually know,
yeah, so straight from the source, and it's like not we don't sugarcoat it or anything. We just want to give it the information out.
It changes as it goes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Right. So the Friday segment that's going to be happening a little bit after this is going to be TGIF, right?
TGIF. Yeah, that's right. On Eco Paradise FM, and it's going to be live on the radio. So this is technically like a backstage view of that show happening.
Right.
So,
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Special access.
And shout out to Her Excellency, Madam Vice President Ugu.
Yeah.
Like, really, honestly, we've been watching her on Palau Wave Radio as well.
Oh, I say,
Hour,
yeah.
and it just keeps us informed and also in touch with what's going on at home. So, both of you guys, inspirations to all of us. Thank you for keeping us informed, especially in this day and age. It's nice to get a
and I'm glad you mentioned that too, Kiru, because the vice president is she's really mal, her heart is really in the whole thing, as you know. And if you're or somebody who's followed the campaigns and stuff like that, like she won really because you can really see her heart in the people. And so even during the Alderonomical typhoon, with everybody criticizing the government and criticizing everybody that was involved in putting the typhoon, she really mal ne try to explain and more then some people kind of took it differently, like tossing mal no defensive, but I feel it was say she's always trying to protect the people, our other Belao. And so she's she mal no or emotional girl because ang mal ne feel involved and she really tried her, like everybody were just everybody that were working that time were really just gimal ne try our best to figure out the informer and all this stuff. So like it was a lot of stuff after the event when everybody started bombarding us here at the radio direct like how we covered it and all that stuff. But the only way you can really change that if there were different people that were doing it.
I mean, most people were not prepared. Or like,
people felt that was saying dim lang enough time alo ay sa but the weather station was the one that was giving us all the info and was giving us how hard is it going to hit us and all that stuff. So we really relied on them, and in the end you can't predict Mother Nature. Mother Nature will do its way with you no matter what you try to predict. And we tried our best to do it, but I think the best thing that came out of this was a lot of us were fairly new to this, and I think after that whole event it's probably never going to happen because we're really ready now more than ever.
Like an eye opener. That's good.
Yeah. So we know. Yeah. Was it perfect? No, it wasn't perfect. To be honest, was it perfect? No. Can we improve? Yes, we can improve.
We learn and we
get
better.
I say, yeah.
Like even plan our like if I had to evacuate, let's say about them like close our highway, map like like no that.
I say.
Everything was closed. We had to go like the back roads through orchards and stuff like that.
Like when was this?
That was 2018, the Paradise Fire.
The Paradise Fire, yeah. Okay, because remember there was another fire, and I was calling you guys like, "Are you guys okay?" It was just one of those times where I was on the internet and I was like looking, and then all of a sudden everything worked. Yeah, and I was like, am I the only one who's noticing that Palauans are in California right now during this fire? So I was calling everybody in California, like, are you okay? Like, even Marla Maknekolengi, and like, I haven't talked to Marla in a while. So she's like, I'm okay. I think I'm good. I'm like, no, you need to get out of there. And she's like, do you even know? Have you even been to where I live? But I was Googling places and I was looking at the maps too. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I was just worried about the people that were there because because I watched that Paradise Fire thing. Yeah.
Before we get into a little bit more, personal details, anytime somebody drops something in the comments, I'm gonna try to pin it up here. So we want to say shout out to Yoko. Can't wait for Ronny to join. Tabol, Ali Fam, Miller Kwal, Ali Palau. We got James Miller in the house. What's good, fams? And what's up?
What's up? Oh, DJ Ate.
Yes. Hey, we gotta
she
share
she was
some stories.
DJ Ate, man, and I gotta give props to her, man. She is
Mhm.
like a super mom. I am telling you,
Yes.
For
an
real.
amazing.
See, I
Yeah,
told
she's
you,
like
girl. I told you. Because I want to get
she's
you on. I
so
told you
amazing.
about
Yeah, I wish she was my mom. Like actually, my mom's. I can't wish that.
it.
Yeah, but she's an awesome mom. I
For
gotta give
real.
props to
Shout out
her.
to you, sis. We love you and thank you for always tuning in. Love it.
Support.
Man, it's just like we're talking we're hanging out in the living room of your guys' house, when you used to barbecue and have to marinate the night before the events and stuff. Rondy, for anybody who's tuning in, talo bang alakaw, manugutan les nakaw.
Mm-hmm.
Sabi mo para di share a backstory, sabi mo isa sa kaboy gariker, taang, and what kind of sparked your interest in media,
Yeah.
Let you hear.
yeah. Oh, and shout out to
Mm-hmm.
Marilyn Rivep. Sa Aiki Sambugi na ka, Randy.
Oh, gibay mal sa bugil ka, Merlin. Thank you. So my name is Ronny. My DJ name is DJ Rondizzle. That name actually came out when I was in 8th grade, and Snoop Dogg was the shizzle for Rizzle,
Yes.
and Ron Dizzle just came out of there, and like all my friends were like, "No," we were all laughing at the name Ron Dizzle, but when I became a DJ, the name
That was
just
the first
kind of
one.
clicked. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it's
just
stuck
like there.
ever since.
Yeah, and it's stuck ever since. So, DJ Ron Dizzle is my DJ name.
I don't.
Um,
Yeah, can you bring it back? You bring it back a little bit because I want to know. I want you to tell people how you came about doing the radio.
so the thing with radio is my brother-in-law, or actually my ex-brother-in-law, but Yelet DJ Toktangara KRFM, which is the local youth radio station in
Mhm.
Palau. He
That's where
was
I got my hip
actually,
hop.
yeah, when I was like, he started dating my sister when I was like really young, and he would always come to our house, and and I didn't realize that he was the DJ doctor until one day we were in the room, and then I loved. This is so funny, but like the Aqua just came out with their album, and it
Yeah.
had Candyman, Barbie Girl, all that crazy
Right.
like silly stuff, but it was so catchy. So like when I first heard it, I was like, oh cool, these are like the cool stuff that we can play. So like I was calling the radio station, and then my sister was like, yeah, call Are You, and tell him to play the song. And I was like, Are You? It's like, yeah, like that's Are You, that's DJ
The whole
Doctor
time.
is Are You. And I was like, whoa, like like it was just like from there on, I was just like, I need to get this job. Like I want this job. Like, so that started my interest in really playing music, and being able to give that moment to somebody else, like to share like really cool.
Energy.
I mean, music especially at that time was really not easy to find.
Yeah.
So you guys, know,
Yeah, it was hard.
like I had one of those CD players, like later on. Yeah, and I was playing one of those what do you call those Walkman CD players, and
Yes.
that's where I got that album. And and the album, he gave me the album after he knew that I really liked those songs.
No
He
wonder
gave
why you had
me the album. Yeah, and then I just ended up like always showing my friends, like, hey man, you guys want to hear some new jams? Yeah, listen to this one. It's Candyman by Aqua. Like, it's like I know. Like now when I think about it, I'm like, man, I really thought it was the shit like at the time, man. Oh man. But yeah, but like so that started my whole riff into music. And then at the same time I started when you're in Carrera Elementary School, you go into computer class and they introduce you to all these different little programs like PowerPoint, for example. And
Yeah.
I started using PowerPoint, and first it was that paint app,
Yeah.
and then they would show you how to use the paint app and stuff like that, and I really liked it because I loved drawing. And so when I started using the paint app, and then I found PowerPoint. Like I was like, wow, PowerPoint, you can do art in PowerPoint. Like,
Yep.
you can do these different stuff in PowerPoint. And I started
And
playing
add
stuff
images. It's
around with
like the
PowerPoint.
first
Yeah.
Photoshop.
So that started my graphic designing interest, because I just like was playing around with
Yep.
it. I didn't even realize that being good at that was a skill. Like, like until I was eighth grade, and I was like, everybody were just asking me to do designs after designs, and then I was like, whoa, like this is an actual skill. Like I'm actually good at at this thing that I do when I'm bored. Like, like, so I ended up like really getting into it, and finding out more information about it. And then uh, I kept listening to the radio, how RU does his shows and all that stuff. And then I finally went to Guam for the first time when I was like fourth grade or fifth grade. And then I heard the radio station there, and it was so different. Like it was so like, it was so well put
Feel it.
together. There was like, yeah, there was
Yep.
fillers, there was station IDs, there was all these things that like, that made this radio seem like so like a big painting. Like, it was not just a
Felt bigger.
microphone anymore. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like all these different things. So yeah, shout out to Smart over. Oh, is that? Oh, it's Swayze. It's Swayze. Swayze la se Santa Ole. All right, yeah, and so that started the whole radio thing, and then eventually I kept looking out for stuff, and I think this is what really kept me in radio, is because I just kept listening to all the different types of radio stations everywhere. Like wherever I went, Hawaii, Guam, US, every time I landed, my Walkman would like switch from CD to radio, and I would just listen to the radio stations, because they would always have the same. They had the mainstream, they had this type of, they had the 90s, 80s, and today, like all that type of radio. And that, I really looked at all the different types of radios. And then eventually I went into high school in the US. And then that's when I really like concentrated on the different types of radio. But at the same time in school, they were doing all these and like we would go into theater, and then they would teach us how to enunciate, and I was like,
Like the art
enunciate, and
class.
it's like, yeah, and like you have to enunciate, like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh, so it's not school, it's school. Like, oh, okay, I get it. And then that made me interested into voice acting and
Radio
doing all that stuff.
personality.
Yeah, being like how to like it made me really pay attention to the different types of radio personalities, and how well they garner their audience. And and I didn't really think about it like as as anything kind of put together until I went to until I came back to Palau, and I started doing the work myself. And so as soon as I got back to Palau, I got a job at WWFM with Alfonso Diaz. And so I owe a lot of my radio personality to him, because he does a lot of like talk radio. And so but as soon as I got into his radio station, and he really knew that I was into it, because I was asking all these questions. And he even said that he's had people in there, but they never asked the questions that I asked. So
Always
he
the
was
ones
like
that
really
are
like,
passionate.
you're really into this, like you're really into this. So he ended up giving me letting me run the 89.9, which was KDFM at that time. And so when he just gave it to me to run it, I was like so excited, because I was like, this is
Right.
exactly what I've been wanting to
Perfect
do. Like, just
Yeah.
telling stories. And then and I mean, it was amazing what he offered. And that really helped me like just get into radio,
On your
and
craft.
really like work on it, and work on the skill, and try to come up with a personality for Palau. So when I came in, I was really I was really well versed with
Well seasoned.
yeah, but well versed with like the Western way of doing radio.
Yeah.
And so I was also good at when people call in, I knew how to make sure to like if they try to heckle me, like I was always good at like coming back at them with
Right.
a different type of
Yeah.
like, so that way it doesn't it
That's a
wasn't
sales
like I
skill
was.
too.
Flip the script.
Yeah, but I wasn't just like being defensive. I was actually bringing them in more and engaging them. Like, it was a different type of reaction to phone calls. And so that's what really lit up that show, because everybody never heard anybody with some really cool comebacks, like, and like I would be like, oh man, I would always talk about how Palauans like try to imitate black people so much, like,
Yeah.
and that we need to be like, if you ever been in the States and you've been with like real thugs, like, it's not what they picture in Palau. Yeah, so
Far
like,
from it.
yeah, exactly. So we
For
try to
real. You
like,
don't want it.
you know well, I tried to kind of like, at least bridge that gap, and tell them like why these songs were popular at that time, and like, kind of give them a little
Because there's
history on
always a
some
story behind
stuff.
it. That's what they don't
Yeah,
see. Yeah.
and that's what I kind of wanted to like Palawan kids, if they're doing that, like to focus more on it.
That's good.
And
That's
then
good.
yeah,
Do
and
it.
then so eventually from there it became uh like more like I knew more about how to do background music and how to do all those kind of stuff when I'm on air, how to transition from songs, like how to go from a sad song to a like a really fast
Right.
song, like, you got to
Yeah.
be in
Control
between
the
to
mood.
kind of bridge those two
Keep the
songs, like,
energy going.
all right,
Yeah.
like that was a really sad song, we're gonna like go into this, but you know what, it's okay guys, let's feel better about it, we're gonna go and play this one, like, like kind of build it up into the next song,
Yeah.
like, so
That's how it
I
is.
kind of
Yeah.
learned, yeah, I learned how to do that. And then uh um uh when I went back to Guam, I became friends with Ronnie Perez, which is one of the radio DJs on Guam. If you've been on Guam, Hit Radio 100, Rick Nauta. These guys have been to Palau a lot of times, Rick Nauta and Ronnie Perez, because they're friends with KRFM's owners. So we've met them a couple of times. And then so when I went to Guam, I tried to get some, get a job with them. And I actually was almost annoying about how I was trying to get into that job. So it was they actually kind of like told me off at one point, like, you need to get out of here, like stop hanging out around here, like, I was like,
Overstepping.
because
You were just
I was so
excited,
into
though.
it, and I was just like
Excited.
standing there like watching them, and then they were like, dude, this guy, man, and I'm like, just
that's
like,
what you wanted to
wow,
do
like,
at the moment.
because they were so good, like they were so good, man, like, like if you're into radio, Rick Nauta is like the most wittiest DJ out there, like he's so cool. And even Ronnie Perez is like just the man, like for reals, like if you are in, like if you're a radio DJ, Rick Nauta and Ronnie Perez are one of the coolest DJs out there.
For
I mean,
sure.
on Guam, yeah, on Guam for sure. They're just like fast, they're witty, they know a lot. It's all about getting your information, putting it together, and then putting it out. Like, so it was really cool.
Right.
Swayze's asking who was that
Yeah.
little kid that said the KRFM 88.9.
Yes.
I don't know if he wants me to tell everybody, but I think everybody kind of knew already that it was Chandrudim. He was DJ Professor. Yeah. Yeah, he was DJ Professor when I was working on there.
Hey, we gonna
So
ask him for the next older version.
Yep.
yeah. So when I came back from Guam, I came back into Palau, and then ended up going into KRFM because of RU. They did not want me to go in. It wasn't because of RU, actually. It was not because of RU. My sister was also working for the company, so they were like, "No, Rondy, you're not coming into the company at all. This is like conflict of interest." So I went straight to the boss and I asked, like, "Hey, I'm interested in this job," and they're like, "Okay, man, like come in." And then, so I ended up going in. RU was so shocked, like he wasn't shocked, but he was just like, he was trying to he showed me all the things, like what to do, and then he just took his hands
Let
off
it
because he
go.
knew that I was like, "Yep, I'm ready, man." So as soon as I got on there, I had my shows down, I had my IDs ready, I was ready to record, I was ready to do all this like shows and stuff like that. So coming into fast forward, I ended up getting out of the radio station later on after like almost 10 years of doing KRFM. I came out of radio, and I felt like I was lacking a lot of knowledge about um, my own country. So the places that I went into were really, like, to me, were random at the time, but el año silong da sunya kasi aruba kamral diakal lo ngalakal. He really put me in all the right places, like uh Core State, for example. Like,
Yes.
it was rough, and I'm gonna be honest. Working for the government, and maybe people will disagree with me with this or not, but this is, working for the government isn't easy in Palau. And we're all related, we're all close, we're all like this, like, but it's kind of, it gets tough because it's a do or die. Like, you're either in or either out. Like, so when they see
Get
you like
halfway.
mess up, then they're gonna be like, "I hey, get out of my say." Like, like, it's like
Right.
you gotta watch your back. Like, it's, but that's the honest truth. Like, but at the same time, I found a lot of really good people that worked for the government, and I learned a lot about Palau. And Koror State government honestly does a great job at taking care of the Rock Islands. So, which
Yes.
I usually just called the Rock Islands. I now always call it the Rock Island Southern Lagoon because I worked at Koror State. So now I know it's the RISL, the Rock Island Southern Lagoon,
Actually.
which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2012. And it's not
Oh,
just a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its beauty, it's because of the history that's in it. So there's a
Nice.
natural aspect in it, and there's a cultural aspect to it. And a lot
Can
of
you share?
places are
Can you
only
share?
known for one. A lot of places that have UNESCO World Heritage sites are only known for one of the two. Like, either their nature
Okay.
is really beautiful, or it's the culture. But Palau, culture and nature, and a lot of it is really because Ulong, for example, Ulong Island is like, there's
the
a
story.
cultural stuff from like way before the war. Molmutra ga legends el ngaringi, molmutra the Japanese telephone lines that are still there.
Still
Like,
Dang.
I know, I'm not kidding. Like, we need to do a show on Core State because it's just a
no,
lot
for
of
real. Like,
amazing stuff. Yeah,
for
I mean,
real,
if
for
you
real.
guys come down, we need to do one show where we just go into Long Island and just do stuff about
Island
Ulong.
tour.
But
Like,
they have that wall that protected
yeah.
them from they call it ewatala, and it protected them from waves, and also from it was like the bottom of the village. There
Oh
was a
wow.
village that was on the Rock Island. There's so much like history, and then the nature part of it, like blila bakay, egal bakaya kadalala, like amazing when you find out more about these animals, because
A lot.
they're the Micronesian megapodes. That's what you call them, the Micronesian megapodes. But Palau is kind of alota namo wasing nga Palau megapodling ngod ablokar delel unique to only, yeah, Palau. So even though Saipan has a megapode, and Palau has a megapode, but
They're not the
ngod
same.
ablokar delel, yeah, kakarosalo o Nyisel o Laklay al Nyisel, like,
I see.
some even speculate as saying ang monogamous.
What?
So selbola bangelawan
And
and the bangelawan al all duel ma end. Oo. And then two couples will actually share a mound where they bury their eggs, and they will know exactly where their eggs are buried. So
Oh
they would like
wow.
ngani nga ko na kapal nga salwitang, ko na kapal nga talwitang, like it's like an apartment, like apartment complex. And they make really cool sounds, and I even learned how it sounds like ngel dadir sa loligan ngel salang. And then ngal cook sal sa loligan ardil ngo like ngora. I know, man. It's so like funny, but when every time like when I was working there and I ended up kind of tour guiding kids over to there, like the kids are always into it because it's so interesting, and I feel like these are things that can be great content for Palau, because Palau abela maluspe Palauan content. I know that di man ko yeah ding ang abela maluspe abatol Palauan content. Lang maral bato ka gila dal smooth gila Palau maral nga song sa kora like medial girel ma ay kang lang kada dir kam subel gila medial wase tiang ngaral to ko like we don't even have it in our high school, and the yet social media el time I miss close to tlel. So it's something that we're still growing and we're still learning, and we're trying to figure out how to incorporate it in our school system. And ang school elementary, they're on tablets, and I remember when I was in elementary, we would go to the lab every Wednesday, and I was so excited every Wednesday. I was like, Wednesday is lab day. Now I got tablet there. I'm like, ole. Yeah, it's so interesting.
It's crazy that this time.
At least access it tools and stuff. It's like an open book to the world outside. So it's not scary,
Now it's up to us to learn it and put it on the tablet so they can learn it.
Yeah. And then so after Karora State, I know, my gosh, my commercial break. Man, but I learned so much in Karora State. Like they also moved me to solid waste. I went from DCLE, which is the Department of Conservation Law Enforcement, and then they asked me if I wanted to go to solid waste management, and I was like, heck yeah, like I want to go to solid waste management. Like I want to know how this whole system like how do we keep Palau clean, because when I was in DCLE and they asked us to, we had a lot of university people, I guess Akuro State, they would always ask, why is Palau so clean? And so when they asked me to go to solid waste management, I was like, heck yeah, I want to know. And to come to find, Palau has a really awesome system, and it's because of tagi el 10 cents per can el maral, it's a lot of it's that one as el sistema national government el maral el clean compact road each el state aditir long ra la commitir. It's also because of our culture, gida dia ka dokora di imeere eungela karakar mabol butokal la karakar eungel because mom kadrigi tel eungel rogir like it's our culture, it's our systems, and it's these like all these things put together, and that is what really makes Palau so different. Because there's places that look exactly like Palau. Conferences ma expo. We were at that expo together, the Dive Expo, and it was just like there's so many places that look like Palau. We were like, oh man, like, but when you go to these places, and a lot of them are very dirty, and I think our system is a good system for a lot of places to learn from, like, to learn how.
There's like a accountability in the system that's been put forth.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah, because.
But kaya Isabella.
At tilay del office sa nga niya variant kanay learning nga gay del incinerators na Ira State Vicky sorry
Vicky kanay. Oh.
Yes, Vicky. They brought incinerators to Ira State among no sub like minimize waste in that way too.
Yeah, so those are some things that we can still work on. I personally think we should come up with, this is just my out of the top imagination, is we should definitely do a sewer system that turns methane into power. you know, because
Yes.
then you will kill
Yes.
two birds with one stone because we haven't done a total sewer system that goes up into Babaldab. So might as well do a sewer system that will turn methane into power. And then you will lagi dah mal klod problem lagi dah dengue, klod
Yes.
problem lagi dah sewer. So why not combine the two? Uh oh, somebody's
I
gonna steal
know.
my
You heard
idea. No, I'm
first.
just kidding. It's okay. I want to share these things so people can, we can inspire each other to figure it out. Like,
I
I
know.
might, it
It's
might not be the
real.
best idea out there, but maybe it'll make somebody think about something outside the box. Yeah. So after solid waste management, then I went into, I actually went into a break for a little bit, and this was one of the lowest points of my life because I've never actually shared this with anybody, but but it was a low point for my life because acne and apple follow makita influence, and it brought me to some really low points where I just like I can't when I this what I'm trying to explain anything I think it's best if I do say that I did go into drugs, and it was not the happiest time of my life. It looked like it, but it really was just a facade, which later on naknom dangil was a diablong amran madenge weaknesses are you know.
Right.
A diablong direk lulmio bernya Dios mendirek el nganya lamsel arngul el madenge el mongaranga
It's a
weaknesses are.
trickster.
Yeah, and he will go out of his way to make sure that you
Stay loyal to him.
lose to your weaknesses.
Mhm.
Because matigay el قط الصوام emergonye o mascao like and there was just one point where I was standing and in this one area, and I kind of just it was a realization or what do you call it? It was I had an epiphany, and it was like in the middle of where we were, and there was just all these people that I just were bad, like like it was a bad situation that I was in, and ngakakotel tiyak pungitak this is gonna sound kind of weird, but ndiak ada omitak lingkot el swak dia rogir el production, doing the whole recording and doing the whole like this whole thing that we're doing, that we are doing, which is video production. Like I would say I'm more of a creative director, and when I was in this low point in my life and I was kind of standing where I was and I looked at my history, like I roll black learn, yakman no kora realize la say, what the heck am I doing? Like nga mal na learned so much up to that point. It would have been such a waste to just kind of to kind of make to kind of mess with my brain at that time. Like why would I mess with my brain at that time when I've learned so much up to that point? And I realized then I say it's just not me. And I don't care what anybody says about it. It's I akmal dearly I'm going el moment lo say this isn't it. And what also really brought me down was after like I got out of it. Cell plexus bringil after it was like even more like depressing. I never think about those types of thoughts that I thought of, those dark thoughts that I thought of, like
Like
to the
what?
point
What were those dark thoughts?
where I was so like I felt like kasi nga amran makita makita like like I felt depressed like
End it.
like end it. And I even dreamt the rose, and like, my grandma passed away a while back, and so uh, I dreamt that my grandma looked at me, and my grandma, when she's mad about something, she doesn't really say it. And I dreamt that she was looking at me, and she was really disappointed, and that really it really broke my heart. Like, I didn't want my grandma to look at me and be like not proud of what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then that dream came to me, Akmal na realized, I said, there's only one way out of this, and it was to pray to God. Maktimi lulu. Like, I was stuck at my house, and I was just praying and praying and praying and praying. Like, and mm, at that point thing, I've always believed in God. Like, I've gone through a lot of stuff, and I've always just kind of kept my belief there. And at that point, because he really just brought me out of it. Like, I don't know how to explain it. And then he really just helped me out of it. And then the next thing you know, I'm getting a phone call from Palau Visitors Authority. Lo say, we want you to come work and all that stuff. And I ended up uh, yeah, exactly. Thank you to our mental direct.
Why say
Yeah,
Tele, and again is the work of Satan trying to keep you
trying to
in
keep
his
you
bubble and making you think ways of ending it. Yeah.
exactly.
Because
And
you're the shame of knowing like "Lugo tirayi de repente que vandem dengel was agay kita you know.
Saying, wow, you're
I
supposed to
had
live
that
up to the
moment
name.
too. Like we both,
yeah.
and it's like you can't even see yourself in the mirror anymore. When you see your reflection, it's
Oh man.
blurred out. Like you don't even know what
Yeah.
you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
And I've like had my weight has always been an issue with me and stuff like that, but I've never really cared about it as much as I did when I was at that low point. Like, I'm bigger than when I was, and I'm more happier now. And akmaral lo marang lo sing maral ne relela diablong, because I felt really horrible about myself. And uh, now that I'm doing all these things, I realize, I say, there's so much value to the work and the skills that I've learned,
Why
that
say? Yang maring
mm,
alarmon.
oo, garo kul blal bas ka baka the gifts,
Mhm.
manggide kalos pa egal gifts nga help rather than
Right.
try to just forget el wasiga blal bas ka
Purpose
roguye.
behind
So
it. Yeah.
yeah, and exactly. So we've had these moments where I've kind of shared these as well,
Yep.
but these is Dios amran ne ulak tilo to say the whole situation. And when I got into
Man, that just
PVA, I was ready to go back into work. And um it akmal nom tingin, I said, that whole situation wasn't just there for no reason. you know
mm-hmm.
I, I was like,
See,
and I don't encourage anybody to go into it or anything, but I was able to get into it, and I got out. Yeah, I said out to get other say they couldn't get out.
mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
no matter how
Wow,
happy they look, tira uspe ang yeso. To uspe ang seo, like
they look
tira.
like enjoying, but
Yeah, they look like they're enjoying, but that's not it, yo. And
that's right.
everybody that's involved in it, among torokliak langar, like torokliak langar adal, al tomalak langar adal, even they deal with it al sablayar adra terogil blada kalodingit pong nganya adal deal with it, but that hindi gigid al ada ulmat terogil familia somehow hindi nganya kuramak nital happen all these different things, because it's really the devil's tool to try and destruct the world. And I think that's something that we really need to bring back up, is maybe
Yeah,
do what happened to War on Ice. Like, we need to bring
bring it
those
back,
campaigns back
back,
and
taking
strengthen
all
them.
homies. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly,
and
because that's
I'm sad
really
because I been with them doing it, so it's like for me to get out, I need to get them out. But they can't see what we've seen, and then so we gotta do the best we can to keep motivated.
Exactly. And so what I found out from all of that, and because sa illegal malblek, kasi ay mo the trial quit, like ay mo the top the tiang, ay mo the focus tiang, and they looked at me like, man, you're a wuss, like, you know, kung mole wala mama sa mama nga telling sa mom. But they didn't realize that mo lang tira total. Like, regardless how many money that the devil will give you, it's still the devil's money, you know. And so you will always see bad things happen in your life and all that stuff. So I realized that saying dia karolel ektura adala say aim quit. That doesn't exist. Dahil sa mura adaling ka nga mind niya or a thing, you know. So the only way you can show him, or you can make him stop, is to show him how you're doing well. Is to show him that the grass is so much greener on this side. Is to show him true happiness require anything else. You know, it's organic happiness out of being loving, doing really good things, you know, real kindness that is from the bottom of your heart. Because say, I know for sure they cannot trust anybody around them, because everybody that's in that thing can't trust each other. Yeah, they can't trust each other because it's all messing up their minds. But all I can tell you is that if you want to see real trust, real happiness, this is where it is, on this side of the grass.
Right. Living in your passion, you know, putting that energy and focusing it on honing in on your craft, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing, because I always known you to be that visionary, you know. Every time we get together, you and me, we have our long talks, and it's like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do.
I know, man. Yeah, like when we started working for, so that.
We're gonna get some land brainstorm,
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So maybe you've already heard this as Shiro from Agiru, but you know, me and her, we worked together with Johnson's campaign, and Giru is a go-getter. Whenever she wants something done, and mo arokul tas kalingi mo ko nye mukmaw telhit arokuy nga angel visionary sab ekal madaswiya creative lultaswo ding yak angel adal ko like okay may laka the bigis to time like, you know. So she's always the one going knocking on my door like, get up, I'm beep, beep, beep. Like, we need to go down. Like, and I'm like, I know. Okay, relax. I'm getting my stuff ready. Like, but she will drag me to do it because she sees. Yeah. And I think, you know, we need to be like that. Like, some people are built different, and some are go-getters and some are visionaries. So we just need to collaborate, because when we collaborate, then yamral toba the sel kotal lungil resela yeldoru ling.
Yes, because it takes a team.
You know, yeah, especially for Gidal Other Belau, like dot on the map. Stop competing with each other. Whatever you will do, you will always do it differently than everybody else. So if you collaborate, you will do a bigger thing.
Yeah, more impact.
Yeah. Because look, we're having like younger millennials like doing video, doing audio, doing all these things, and they're doing it all differently in different places, and that's great. But we really need to collaborate as a small nation, like, you know, el bridge I got like bridge I get and you know, that way we can really make an impact in the whole world, you know. Like, that's just how I see it.
How the Dive Expo, you know, how that turned out, because I just want to say, like,
oh man,
that was one of our first,
you know what,
moves
and
doing something outside of
it's
Palau.
okay. it's okay. I don't we don't need the credit for you and me. We don't need the credit for it. But it was such an amazing expo. I wish everybody saw it because it was
Yes.
a small expo, but me and Giru hit it so hard like it was the biggest expo in the world. Like because when we were there, and I mean I just knew instantly when they asked lo say someone more Khalif, and I was like heck yeah, and then I knew instantly my brain was already like planning it out like what we're gonna do and
Right.
stuff like that. So when I called Giru, I was already like, okay dude, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this and this and this. Like, Giru's also like, yeah, okay, so I'm gonna call who and who. Like, we were already planning this out, and
And
then
we're gonna
so
bust a move and go out there. It was
and
amazing.
and
It was fun.
like we said when we walked in nga Magiru, we knew instantly. Let's say there's gonna be a lot of places that are gonna look like Palau, and they're gonna try to be like Palau. So we try to
Yes.
be as different as we were. So I just told her bring a freaking muatraspiga.
Yeah.
I said, hey, muatraspiga, bro. Because I was ready to MC. We were gonna play some Palauan music. You know that it needed to be going down like that. But that
Yeah, shout out to Bin and Joseph. They
Ma-
were our
man, those
dancing
two,
models.
man, I miss those guys. Those guys were amazing, man.
Yes. We had
They walked around.
Palauan
flyers.
women, Palauan
Yeah.
traditional wear and male traditional wear. And shout out to the Noble family out in Concord because they're the ones that provided the attire for Dilpip to showcase at that expo.
And you know what? And the only reason why in some niswak our other satyang, not because gira la Rondy magiru. It's not about that.
Yeah.
That is how hard we need to hit every
And
time
represent,
we do
yes.
expos,
And when
no
they see
matter
us
how
work,
small it is. Bec-
Yeah.
But not only that, I got expo. Ako talgere dunguringi. You know. How many times are we walking around Palau and we see people that oh yeah, I was in an expo and I
Yeah.
like totally fell in love with Palau, you know. So when we do these expos, we need to hit it harder now because there's so many places that look like Palau when we go to these expos, you know. And I'm not gonna, kukura yang because kukura down na I get previous methods and book team le get last
Something
events. We didn't need to be that out there because our island was so beautiful compared to all the islands that were showcasing until in startas cameras upgrade my god ngang clear my digital yang ako na start upgrade ada no realize I baby la blue ang nga baby luwabe lao. You know, we just had a lot of people come into Palau or the Palau. But now in Mal, you know, it's like there's so many places that look like Palau. So when we go to some of these expos, some of these people have never even heard of Palau.
Yeah.
So as soon as we go in and get these soyis already godobubu le lagi ra me that are sel ligang.
And we turned up and you made a connection with the director of that expo because didn't he say nobody?
Oh yeah! Oh my
has
gosh!
ever come up to him and thank him or gift.
Thank you. That's so funny. At the end of the whole show, we had an extra storyboard. And I looked at the storyboard and nobody was doing anything with it. And the real purpose, I didn't want to carry this damn storyboard back to Palau. Because in our whole team, I was the only dude in the team. So I was the one that had to carry all the stuff back. So I was like, okay, how do I get rid of this? So I thought about it because before the expo, I looked up Palwasing Taanga owner tel expo. Yeah, so I just kind of like, went to the front and I didn't even like know what he looked like. I just saw him on the video and I was like, okay, so he's probably somewhere around here. So I was like, excuse me, do you know where I can find the owner of the expo? Mr. Somebody, I forgot the name of the guy, and then in Caldera, I said, well, if you're lucky, he might be up there right now because I think he just came in. Like it was one of those moments where he just, for the first time, I got expoing le so happen and me walk by yourself front. And I was like, excuse me, sir.
Nice.
We have something for you from the island of Palau. And he was like, oh, really? For me? Okay. So we went to I brought him over and I was like, this is so awkward. But I brought him over and then I was like, the director of Palau Visitors Authority would like to present you with a storyboard. Like, and I already told the director that this is what's about to happen.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, yes, thank you. We really thank you for all the things you're doing and all this stuff. And he was like, wow, in all the 7 years that I've owned this expo, I've never received a gift from any of the expo people. So we were like, yeah! I was like, that is how you rock a expo.
Time.
Yeah, so we need to show these kind of things and, share them with people.
No, yeah, that way,
Anyways,
so
I'm going to have to leave you guys in a few minutes because I have
10
about
minutes on the clock.
10 minutes till I bring in the vice president. So,
So
thank you guys so much. Yeah.
No, I really appreciate you, man. You make time for us.
I forgot this is not my interview. Yes, you're interviewing me.
You're getting ready for your interview.
This one, I said, and I'm always rooting for you, bro. El EPFM and the things you guys are doing over there, like I know you're gonna shine wherever you go. Like and I know like it's embedded in you. You was born for this, so
yeah.
we root for you. Alganiak moral even to some of the promo ringi ko ice and so although I gave you the flyers now. And speak
wherever we go, yeah, because we gotta do this together, man.
Go. Yes.
Yeah, and, this is a collaboration.
Can you just give us some updates before you go? Like happenings, night market.
Yeah, so night market's coming up on the June 4th. June 5th. June 5th. I think we put June 4th, but it's actually June 5th. Oh, I go Mosubes. June 5th. If you I think I sent you the flyer and it says June 5th. But June 5th is the night market featuring Monoliths, which is Glenn C, the Edward Ongrung. And
nice.
These guys are like the original, the OGs. So it's going to be an awesome show because they're great at entertaining. They're great at talking to the audience. So tune in to PNCC's live coverage.
Yay!
And we're going to be doing that live. Yeah, it's going to be live at the Under the Bridge IRI side, which is the right side. Yeah, and then also upcoming for the night market, the next following night market, we're gonna do a Imagurs festival because Imagurs is in season, so we're so excited. We want to do an Imagurs festival and challenge the vendors to come up with some new recipes.
For sure. Hey man, y'all better bring it. I hope we can.
What can you make?
This is also hosted by PVA, right?
Yes, PVA is hosting the night market. Are you guys gonna bring and the champions of
these festivals together?
Oh, listen to this too. At the Magurs Festival, there's gonna be Palau Idol, which is gonna be hosted by the Civic Action Team. Yeah, they're gonna be doing a Palau Idol during the night market. So that's going to be an exciting night market. This night market that's coming up, which is Monoliths, is going to be a lot of great music. So it's great to tune in. There's going to be a lot of great dances as well. So tune in this night market, which is June 5th. And then 2 weeks later, it's going to be Imagurs Festival. So we'll put up the flyer so you guys can see that as well.
Okay. For sure, bro.
And then what else is going on?
I know.
And then tune in right after this because we're gonna go live in a little bit at 3:00 with the vice president to do TGIF, which is Thank God It's Friday.
For sure. So it's gonna be the Eco Paradise on Facebook, guys. We're gonna go.
Yeah, Eco Paradise FM. Okay.
I'm
still trying to get rid of the profile, but because they created a profile before I got here, and so there's a link. There's a profile that's lingering, but don't go to the profile. Go to the page, Eco Paradise FM. Yeah, that's where all the live shows are at.
And where can they find you on social media?
social media, you can check me out on Facebook. I'm literally old school, so I'm just like on Facebook a lot of times. But I also have an IG, so you can check me out on IG as well. I'm gonna start like as soon as I switch my phone from a J2 Prime, you're gonna see more of me on IG. But right now, I'm on the OG, which is a Samsung J2 Prime, which is like the most solid phone out there until I switch, which is going to be next 2 weeks. In 2 weeks from now, I'm going to switch phones. And when I switch phones, you're going to see me more on IG and a lot of other apps like TikTok and a lot of that stuff. So stay tuned for more Rondizzle content coming soon.
All right.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much. I love you guys so much. I also follow you guys a lot. And I'm so glad that you guys are also guided by God as well. Because ang mahal da kangod al makroli din di kal ruba gaya ko tam sisi aurelel mga mahal gida del di mom sisi aklaw maragi da kapon mo ito til gida la ruba.
Why say?
Yeah.
Thank you for that beautiful message and a wonderful interview. It's been another episode of TTalks with your girl Keeks. And our special guest, DJ Rondizzle.
Yeah. All right. See you guys. Peace out.
And thank you. Shout out to you and the TGIF podcast. We're going to check it out after. And make sure you go check out Eco Paradise FM Facebook page, y'all.
All right. Peace.
Bye. Love you.
Be safe.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode. We have a very special guest, actually 2 special guests coming up next week. So make sure you stay tuned. And before we go, we just want to give you guys a recap, let y'all know we still have that graduation giveaway open. The deadline has been extended to June 30th, 2021. And basically, we would like to know what your interpretation of Agota Adar Belao means to you. All right, you can make it could be digital piece, it could be illustrated piece, it could be written poem, spoken word, or maybe a little short film. However you see fit. Okay, however you want to express it.
Yeah.
So DM your submissions to 680MVMTIG because we would love to have you on. We're going to be doing a live draw where we'll bring you on, let you share a little bit about your piece, and let the viewers vote in the comments. All right, top 5 winners are going to get a prize package from some of our sponsors. We have Olokoi Sauce, we have Hella Palauan, we have Tabo Michael of In Between Seasons, Jerryfish 103, and we have ourselves and Uso Wiz Fire and Shay Colorway, guys. So make sure you follow everybody on social medias.
And Wiz is going to drop the CDs by Triple Tree and Ras Rebellion. So go check them out on all major platforms.
You're going to get a music package. Oh, yes. And Sister Rhea Davis, because she got some new music.
Dropping tomorrow, actually.
Yes. So make sure you go follow her on IG as well as YouTube. You know, she's got a music video up there and more music coming soon. It's actually featuring Jameer Morgan.
And in 2 hours or so, music video is dropping, so make sure you check it out.
Oh, snap! I forgot. You know what I'm saying? Wait, I thought it was 20 tomorrow, midnight. No, it's now?
As soon as it hits 28.
The music video is dropping. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Again, make sure you check out Ronny on the Eco Paradise FM Facebook page. They're going to be interviewing Madam Vice President.
Go and check out what's going on. Yes. Stay tuned. You know what I'm saying? Keep informed. If you're off the island, make sure you stay tuned. Keep informed of what's going on back home because ever since COVID, man, we got to keep each other together and stronger than ever.
And shout out to all the fams that tuned in. We love you guys. Every time you guys come on or you guys DM us and let us know, hey, you want to get something on, it just inspires us to keep it going. So, if you or your family member or your homies, doesn't matter if they're Palauan or Micronesian, Pacific Islander, send them our way.
Brown, yellow.
Yes, send them our way so we can get them on the show because, it takes a village. We're all trying to do something,
So,
right?
okay, so before we leave, who we got next week?
Oh, next week.
The one and only Mr. Fire. We got all right.
Oh yeah, no guy on Tuesday. He confirmed. I have work to do, y'all. We're gonna be putting out some flyers for that as well. We got Ngao Guy on Tuesday, and we have
Big Bro. Big Bro Jacob.
Yes, Jacob.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure you tune in. He has some good things to share. You know what I'm saying? Something for the youth and like for my age group and for everyone out there that wants something good to hear.
Yes.
All right, we go ahead and sign out. So this is another episode of
TTalks. Hey, till next week, y'all. Peace.